my name's Huw Williams. Sounds as if I'm starting a pantomime. My name's Huw, and I'm the race director for the Pen Llyn Ultras here on the Land's End of Wales on the Llyn Peninsula. So you've got the Pen Llyn Ultra Summer Edition, Winter Edition, and we've slotted in the Pilgrims North Wales route now. We've been going since 2016. Nice. So apart from the 2020, whenever everything stopped, we've been, I think like a lot of races, we had a big wobble during COVID, and it was like, do we carry on or do we not? But it brings so much endurance tourism to the Llyn Peninsula, and yourself, Wayne, the running tourists, they return, especially if they're ultra runners or ultra, back of the packers. They'll come back and revisit with their friends and family. So it's so important to the local community. And I think because you're full of endorphins going around the course, they become the best salespeople for the local tourists. So that's what I do. I've got the races here on the Llyn Peninsula, which we're very proud of, and it's great to have people coming down.
Yeah, it certainly looks completely what it is, which is spectacular. I think as well as that, you do offer something very, very unique, to the area, and that's something which you should be very, very kind of proud of there. So in terms of COVID, obviously recovering from COVID really this year, isn't it? Getting wheels back on really. Tell me a little bit how this year's been going and things like that.
I think this year our first race was the Pilgrims 60. A little bit of advertising there, and that was originally going to be going in 2020. So that had been postponed from 2020 and then from 2021. So it was a 2-year wait. Some had signed up in the middle of 2019. We had about 70% turn up, which for me, going on, because we put a race on in 2021, the Summer Ultra, and that was almost half the people were no shows and so on, especially because lockdown was literally, we were just out of lockdown, so people are still a little bit, sort of thing. So to get an increase on the first race, that was brilliant. So for numbers, that race, it follows along because there's some brilliant Pilgrims routes. Is it XRG? They do one down in the South Downs in February. Brilliant. Ultra, that. And I was like thinking, do we have a North Wales Pilgrim? So that's one that I've been running or exploring since 2017. And we did the first one, which is beautiful because it was the first time we had a bus. We used one of those vehicles that you put people on and transport. So we put the bus on from the start in Aberdaron, and then we did the registration and the pre-race briefing in the actual cathedral in Bangor, and it was just a splendid affair. And then off they go through the Snowdonia Quarter, a lot, and then down through the coastal path. So it's just, it was nice to stretch out from the coast and for people to see that. Then we had the summer one, which has just got, we had Backyard Ultra. We had quite a few dropouts with that. There was the Four Nations. And then we had the summer one just gone a couple of weekends ago. And the did not shows, the DNSs was only about 35% and going on 20%, which is normal. I was really happy with that because, last year we had so many T-shirts and medals left over, and it was quite disheartening because you sort of, you take it personally, think, is it the event? But it's still, you speak with your friends who are competitors, not only for your races, for other races, and they're like, we just hang back with that. So this year it was great to see a lot of people turn up and a lot of people finish the races. So it's good. I don't know about yourself, Wayne, but it's good to see the numbers coming, and new faces as well as the old faces coming through. And I think that's vitally important, especially these people who have discovered ultra running be it through, a virtual race for the 2 years that, they may have been fledgling into normal races. They're turning up now, and they're going for it, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to see life coming back to normal, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know that the Pen Llyn, there's multiple kind of distances that people can do on that particular race. Tell me about those.
Yeah, we had just got my notebooks. Boy, I was like this before. I need to prep. I'm such a geek, when it comes to anything. I'll just take a notepad but yeah, funnily enough, I just seem to have. This year we had the 100. Now, beautiful weather, and then come the Friday, it was the same start day as the UTS in Snowdonia, the one that Mike puts on, part of the UTMB, and they had to cancel that distance halfway through. I think they got to about a certain amount of summits. So it's like, look, it's not safe. Now, our start for the 100s is normally on the beach, where they run along the beach and then they go through a place called Longoid. And they're the first lot of races. We do the 100 milers, 75 and the 50. So there was 8 competitors. We had about 30 competitors signing up. And then as the months go on, I said, oh, can you drop me down to the 75, or can you drop me down to the 50? Or, because they have a look at the route and they think, this is a big race. So, because I'm not physically involved, the race team, Dillis, asked them all, I said, look, we're going to amend the course so you go along the road to start. So we're able to follow you in the recovery car to make sure that you're okay. And the weather was depleting then because it was 11 o'clock at night. So they started off in a hoolie. And we had 4 finish. Jean-Baptiste French, who lives in Cornwall, he won. But yeah, Gordon Hughes, we all know, he'd failed. He had bad sunstroke and so on the 100 in 2019.
Yeah, he did. I remember that.
Yeah, so he went out and ran with Mike Asbit, another local runner. Well, not local, but another runner that comes, and they completed it, which was fantastic. But yeah, for the 100, we just get the hardcore experienced competitors. We started off the first year in 2018 with 2, one finished, one didn't. So we've got a 50% turnout for these kind of races. The 75, once again, we had good turnout with that. The 50 has become one of the main races because it's good. It's 24 hours, and it's good for people that are experiencing, say, like a trial distance, or they want to do a sponsored walk. They can do all that within there. So we have a cheesy pasta party the night before in the main hub, which is on the beach, and the cheesy pasta party. And I saw this, like, almost talking of pantomimes, like this figure walking in, and I was like, oh, I recognise this guy, and I was like, Rory. He goes, hi, Huw, and I went, you won the 75 in 2018, and he came in 12 hours 53, which hasn't been beaten. And if you're a bit of a running stats geek, ultra running, he won the Lakeland 50 or the 100 in 2018 as well. So I saw him and I was like, because we do we've got like 50 odd marshals, and we have the opening and closing time of checkpoints going on previous years with the fastest through and so on. And I saw him and I was like, Rory, come here. What race are you doing? Because I'm doing the 50, Huw. And I was like this, Dillis, what, Huw? Can you have a word with the marshals to open potentially an hour and a half earlier than everybody else? He just smashed it, because I said to him, what time are you looking at? And he goes, oh, I'd like to be going round at 7-minute miles. You take a big gulp.
Route as well, isn't it? It's quite a...
the 50 is, it's not flat. There's the headland of Llanbedrog where they've got to go up.
Yeah.
These steps carved in, and they're going across the coast. along the sand, then they're going up, the Nant Vert, and he came in what was it, 7 hours 29, which was 8 out, and the personal, the fastest known time before that was 8 hours 20. It was like, oh my word, it was fantastic to see. But then, we've got the back of the packers on the 50, whose goal is to do a marathon distance, which is a checkpoint on the beach, the Tir Corch beach. So, they walk along, they take their own, but they're all raising for different charities, which is what it's all about. So you got the racing snakes and you got that. And so, it was great to see a huge mix and a good vibe. And we have the event in Aberech Sands, which is right on a caravan park, right on the beach. And we've got like a setup with the tents, like Marathon de Sables. There's kind of like a boomvac. So people can mix and mingle. So it's good. It's good.
The challenging sections, would you say, particularly during each of those distances, 50, the 75, and 100? What would you say? I know it's different for everybody, really, because some people on the 100 milers find it's getting through the night, really, isn't it? But what would you say it was at the hardest sections for each of those distances?
For the 100, I'd say is, because we do it self-supported till 29 miles, which is the checkpoint next to my house. And that's just, it's a laborious start. There's a lot of tarmac and it's just running through the night. But as they run up the back of the old quarry mountain in Trevor, and that's where they get the sunrise. So they've been beaten down to start off with, but just as they get to the top and the back of Nant Gwrthyn for the 100s, they get the view, they get the sunrise, and it's just head down to the first checkpoint. For the 75s and the 50s, I'd say it's the Nant Gwrthyn. That's horrible. It's it's hard. Like I'm almost 3 years as a non-runner now, and I'm like, that's not fair. That's just not fair, because they all hit it after they've been on their, the 50s hit it at about mile 27, the 75s hit it after about 60 odd miles, and they run down onto a quarry beach in Nant Gwrthyn, which is like a Welsh learning centre, and then there's a 25% vert, like an alpine curved road, and then they have a checkpoint where they can either get their drop bag, or they can carry on and go up, which is, there's an old BT tower, so steps up the side of that mountain and then back down, and then that's it. That's their race finished. Then I think as soon as you've done that, it gives them that extra kind of come on with it. But definitely that's the thing is
it's that's the worst of it, kind of thing. What would you say is what kind of difference maybe it's the mindset during the race, or what do you see, like the runner kind of transform through a different series of emotions, and then towards the end, do you see that kind of like spills out in confidence, more confidence in themselves? What do you think about that side of things, from your side of things? Looking at the events in a way, in a different viewpoint.
I think especially for the 50, where a lot of first timers do it, and especially a lot of walkers are able to do, they always do sponsored walks previously, but they're able to, they've got the accountability. I was speaking with a lot of the locals beforehand, they're doubting their confidences, but as soon as they started, and then as soon as they get to the first checkpoint in Mynyddo'th, they've been enticed into the race then, and their confidence that wasn't there beforehand is at an oar, and then they're going, okay, I'm just going to try and, we're talking at the ones at the back of the pack, they're saying, if I can get to Tir Corch, or if I can do the next checkpoint, I'll be happy with that. And for me, that is just, it's not about finishing for some of the competitors in the 50. It's about taking part and just giving something a go. And in turn, you see them again the next year, and they've developed something they go that little bit further and so on. So from my point of view, to see it developing on people's who are brand new to ultra running or ultra distance, I think it's fantastic. But I also think it's great for people who have done a great time in the 50 and they think, oh, do you know what, I'll give the 75 a go, or I'll give the 100 a go. Because we had Derval Owen, local guy, only started running in 2018. He won the 50 last year, and then he won the 75 this year. Amazing. And we'd written him off at the first aid station in Abersoch, 75, because he was walking like a chicken, and we were like, "There's no way he's going to be able to do this." And then you go into dot watching mode, because Julian Ayres, another strong runner, those two are battling in and out. But as soon as Derval got to Nantwithin, he's a local lad from Llwyffain, which is the town attached. That was it. He was gone, and that sort of thing. But it's the checkpoints. I think yourself. Because all the checkpoints have been with us since 2016. The people that are running them have been with us since the start as well, and they've made them their own sort of thing. We've got Thomas Bach. He was 6 whenever he started marshalling, and he was at the award ceremony in the Pen Llyn. He's like this. I haven't been to sleep. Like this. So it's all about that side of the community as well, getting involved. Because I was thinking, we give free places. We have a marshals party. We've got that on the farm in a few weeks. But I was thinking, well, you've got a lot of people who marshal, and they might not be runners. So what we've started to do now is they can gift their free place to one of their friends who might be a runner or want to do like a charity walk, or they can raffle it off for their own. So then everybody gets full use of it. And I think what's handy now that I'm not a runner, I'm able to understand that you make it, accessible for everybody to get involved, because the marshals community is just, we wouldn't have events with them. And it's those kind of smiles or walking along with somebody for a couple of miles, which gives them that finish. And then they have these new kind of ideas, or these new races evolve for it. So I think the marshals are just incredible for all races. I haven't been in a race anywhere in the world where the marshals are crap. They're all just, they can't do enough for you.
Gotta agree with you there. It's all about those that's kind of spur you on and just put a hand on your shoulder or anything like that. That's kind of takes you away from whatever pain you're going through and gets you to the next checkpoint, and keeps your head going. Getting to the trail and getting the job done, doesn't it? It makes 100%, doesn't it? So your team has really kind of developed or changed because of your own kind of personal challenges as well, hasn't it? Would you mind telling us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. I think this is something I've been working through in my head a lot over this event, because what happened at the middle of, I'd say, after I came back from the Marathon des Sables in 2017, I'd noticed a dip in my fitness. And I thought that was just a bit of fatigue. 2018, I was doing the odd race here and there, the odd charity walk and stuff, but I just wasn't in myself. Then 2019, for the latter half, I did my last race in Lille in Portugal, and that I couldn't take in any breath. So the tail end of 2019, came home after picking my daughter up from school. I just collapsed here, and I thought, oh, am I having a heart attack, or have I got a gallstone? And then they rushed me into A&E, and they said, we found a shadow in your small bowel, and there's lesions on your liver. I was like, what's that? He goes, oh, you got cancer. I said, okay, how long have I got left to live? What are they going to do? And he goes, we're going to have to keep you in, and we're going to have to do checks and biopsies and so on. So you basically sat there for, lying in the hospital for like 10 days. And after having that bravo, that kind of, you're confident with your health and a little bit too cavalier with it sometimes, to being redundant and almost obsolete. And I was like thinking, crumbs, everything starts going through your head. And they said, okay, what's probably going to happen is we'll be able to take the cancer out, and then we'll address what these lesions are. So they did a biopsy, and then I had to go to Liverpool for whatever the news was. And, I've been in some hairy situations in my life, and it was like, this man's potentially going to tell me I'm going to die in a couple of weeks, months, years, whatever. So I knocked on the door, he come in, and he goes, you've got something that's called neuroendocrine cancer, neuroendocrine tumours. Now, what they are is they're a bipolar cancer. So my primary is in my small bowel. That's metastasized to my liver. But the nasty little things that they are is they send off different hormones throughout your body, and it had worn out what we thought was one of my heart valves. They just corroded it. So as well as having inoperable cancer, I was told, we're going to have to do surgery on your heart. So I went in April 2020 for one heart valve replacement. It was 4 hours operation, standard, open your ribs, go in, take it out. But then I was in intensive care. Well, I was under the knife for about 9 hours because they saw 2 other heart valves that had depleted. I was also on lots of fluid called octride that stopped me from having a carcinoid flush. So as well as depleting the heart, the cancer excretes various hormones, which causes, high pulsing, swollen belly, body flushes that can be. So they had to keep me at I think it wasn't until a couple of years after, like a few months ago, when I actually had time to percolate on, hang on a minute, that was lucky. So I was in intensive care for 4 days. I was rubbish. I couldn't, I had to be spoon fed, couldn't walk. I had a heart block. So, and I had, at that stage, you're like thinking, you're seeing people coming in and out because people said, with you being an ultra and that, you'll be in and out in about 2 days. And I was there for almost 18 days. And it was just because COVID had started. I was literally so lucky getting that operation. COVID started that I was able to have that operation. And then I was home. I was in my son's spare room for something like 8 months, just no energy at all. And what happened was, so as well as trying to keep because I'm stage 4, so as well as trying to keep the cancer stable, my heart had gone into aerial flutter, which means that it wasn't syncing properly. My beats were not beating correctly. With all the painkillers as well, the fatigue levels were just out of this world. So I had to have a defib June last year just to correct me. So at the moment, my heart, I've noticed that I'm having PRRT treatment at the moment, which is targeted treatment to try and reduce the growth or slow it down or just give me a better quality of life. But I've noticed since having that treatment, my aerobic capacity, as in, I go for a walk in the morning, but if I'm trying to catch up with somebody, I can't. So we're going for different tests with all that. Now, fast forward to last year, and your question, it was like, I was so fatigued, I couldn't even think, Wayne. It was like, well, hang on, I'd be reading stuff and I was like, I wasn't able to get it into my head. So I asked Dillis, who I've known since I was 5, and Jeremy Collins, one of my good friends, and from Marathon de Sables, and the rest of the team, look, guys, do you mind if I hand this over to you, the ultras to run this year in 2021, and they've done it this year again, where I'm physically not involved, although behind the scenes with emails, chatting with the competitors and so on. That was what I was. So without Dillis and the team, I'd be completely lost. But I came to sort of like eureka moment. I've been developing the Pen Llyn Ultras for about 5 years live, and then 2 years before that. So my plan was in 2019 was to eventually oversee it as a spectator point of view. You know, say if I wanted to go and race somewhere else or go abroad or not be there on the day, I know that there's a team that can look after it. And the pennies drop now, not to be resentful to my health taking me away. You know, this is something that I was working to in the meantime, but I think your confidence dips, you know, whenever you've got a health sort of thing. I'm very, very lucky that I achieved everything I think I wanted to as a runner. And, you know, I was sort of, you know, starting to take a step back and enjoying that. Well, I quit my job 4 weeks before I fell on the floor in the kitchen, because I thought, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll do a bit of a side hustle with, you know, some, coaching, not physical coaching, but helping people with their confidence and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it just went bums up. But I think with lockdown being for 2 years, and I was recovering for those 2 years, everything seems to have opened up at the same time. And it's now like, right, okay, let's get started. Like one of my goals yesterday was to stay awake all day.
Right.
And I did, you know, because if I have a nap in the afternoon, I'm gone from about 1 till 6. But we've gone on a bit there. Sorry, viewers. But yeah, neuroendocrine cancer, check it out. Because I thought, as a runner, I thought I was having stomach issues because of a runner. I thought the flushing was just something. And I thought the fatigue that I was experiencing was the normal kind of fatigue from training or having like long runs and so on. So, you know, and if you're a female, you may think that flushing, fatigue, and so on could be, you know, signs of the menopause, but it's a very, very rare cancer, neuroendocrine cancer. So yeah, Google that. But yeah, so we fundraise for neuroendocrine cancer UK at the Pen Llyn Ultras, and we also fundraise for the DPJ Foundation, which helps the farming community with mental health support and just, you know, being there. So I think from going from fundraiser to somebody who has seen what the fundraiser, you know, I used to fundraise for cancer research when me and Gordon ran to the running show from my cowshed, and then being on the receiving end is something quite a journey, because you then see how many people are involved physically and then how many people are involved behind the scenes with each patient. And then, you know, they've got that caring, they've got that motivational smile about them with every single new patient. And I think that's phenomenal. You know, you can't have, oh, I can't be bothered today. It's like, oh, hi, how are you? And I think that's, once again, it's the human spirit, which is, I don't know, it's something really special, Wayne.
Yeah, I think that everybody that already knows you, they know just how you are and how driven you are and how humorous, despite you know, things kind of not necessarily going your way. So you know, I think everybody you know, is enormously in awe, and you're very, very inspiring. You know, certainly for myself, you know, I can say that that's you know, absolutely amazing, mate. You know, what you do, and you get back up again, you know, and that's it's really brilliant, and it's really something that you should be, you know, proud of yourself for, mate. You know,
Yeah.
The team around you as well. Just mention absolutely amazing. Yeah, very, very kind people, aren't they?
Oh, I think it just shows what small communities are like. You know, it's not just the Llyn Peninsula. You know, we have runners coming up from Cornwall, you know, little pockets of communities that think blah, blah, blah. But the Llyn Peninsula, for me, you know, I've lived all over the world. You know, I've been here, done that. I've been very lucky. But to have this nucleus of the team that we've got is just, you know, and to see, you know, we started, wait, don't tell anyone, okay? We've got a very secret club called the Mighty Oaks. It's probably the worst kept secret in the world. Me and Gordon set it up, and Jeremy Collins and essentially when we did the charity first marathon round the Bardsey Island. And when we started that club in 2016, there was 3 ultra distance runners, walkers. It was me, Gordon, Jeremy Collins. And after this last event, we've got 110. So per square mile, if you're coming on holiday to the Llyn Peninsula and you break into a conversation with somebody, there'll be an ultra runner. Or the person who just served you some food, there'll be an ultra runner. So I think that for me, that's the whole community thing as well. And we've got,
look out for the
different. Yeah, that's it. It is. It's brilliant. So I think, that's where the community gets together, and especially with these big events. And, we've been able, through having the Pen Llyn Ultras, to put on various community events free of charge. There's one in Cliffine at the end of August. That's raising money for the Eisteddfod. And these are where the runners who just think, oh, what's this ultra about? And off they go. And I think, it's a great distraction. If, when you sign up for an ultra for the first time, that's you for about 9 months with a purpose as well, So, yeah, the team, Dillis, Julie, Dylan next door, got him drunk at a barbecue 2019, smoker, drinker, he runs ultramarathons now. It's like people avoid me, doing shopping. Don't speak to Huw, you'll end up doing an ultra. Just look at Shelley on the tills.
Especially if you're in a dinosaur suit.
Stay away from them.
That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you can't write it, and it's got to say there's not many personalities like yourself there out there, mates. And it's a breath of fresh air. It really is. If people wanted to find out more about Pen Llyn Ultra, where do they go? What do they do?
Funnily enough, I'm rubbish at remembering things. I'll put I'll sign up today for the Pen Llyn Ultra, and then I'll get loads of marshals going, Huw, that's not the right month. So, in no particular order, we've still got places available for the winter. Now, the winter one is a shorter version, which is for lots of rain. It's 35 miles. That's on the 19th of November. We've got the Pilgrims, I mentioned earlier. That's on the 6th of May, 2023. And then we've got Pen Llyn Ultra Summer, 30th of June. Facebook, just Pen Llyn. If you're not Welsh, hang on, P-E-N, like a pen, and then Llyn, double L, just wipe the spit off, double L, Y-N, and then Ultras. Or just have a look for me on Facebook, because I'm normally pushing it first thing in the morning. But yeah, Pen Llyn Ultras, and we've also got a website as well, so if you type in Pen Llyn Ultras. But yeah, there's all the races on there, and if you've got any questions, DM me direct. We're lucky we're not a huge commercial, kind of being. We have about 300 runners to the summer event, so we're able to, just how you chat back with your friends and stuff. So if you've got any questions about the sections and so on, just give us a shout. But everybody sign up today, please. And then, seriously, just come over for a chat. Come over honestly, nothing will happen.
Well, this has been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, Huw. Absolute pleasure, and always, we end up with a smile on our face by the end of it. So it's absolutely amazing to see you again and speak to you, and like I say, just so inspiring your journey as well, so thank you so much for your time today and sharing the Pen Llyn. Is that right? Pen?
Yeah, that's right. You've got a place now for next year. By saying it, that gives you access to entering it.
That's it. And I've got...
You'll be on the start line next year thinking...
I've set the standard now. I've set the standard. Exactly, yeah.
What? There's just loads of confused people at the start of the Pen Llyn Ultra going, did you speak to Huw about shopping in us? Yeah, I did. Well, thanks very much, Rain. Lovely to speak to you.
No.